it in your night dress. Discarded all the naughty nights for niceness. Landed in a very common crisis. Everything's in order in a black hole. Nothing seems to pity is the past though. A Bloody Mary's lacking in Tabasco. Remember when you used to be a rascal? Oh, the boys are slag. The best you ever had, the best you ever had is just a memory. And those dreams, when as daft as they seem, as daft as they seem, my love, when you dream them all. Flicking through a little book of sex tips. Remember when the bars were all electric? And now when she told she's gonna get it, I'm guessing that she'd rather just forget it. Clinging to not getting sentimental. Said she wasn't going but she went still. Like a gentleman had to be gentle. Was it a mechadabra or a betting pencil? Oh, the boys are slag. The best you ever had, the best you ever had is just a memory. And those dreams, when as daft as they seem, as daft as they seem, my love, when you dream them overflow. Where did you go? Where did you go? Where did you go? Falling about, you took a left off last life lane, just sounding it out, but you're not coming back again. Falling about, you took a left off last life lane, you were just sounding it out, but you're not coming back again. You used to get it in your fishnets, now you only get it in your night dress. You started off the noise and the niceness, living in a very common crisis. Everything's in order in a black hole. Is everything as pretty as the past though? A Bloody Mary's like an Tabasco. Remember when you used to be a rascal?
Girl, won't you stop taking enough, huh? Oh, honey, honey pie, honey, honey, honey pie. Oh, girl, won't you stop taking enough, huh? Oh, honey, honey pie, honey, honey, honey pie.
Oh, girl, don't you stop till you're my girl, and I won't stop it until you're my girl, and you can't stop it until you're my girl, and I can't find out what you want, what you got. I got that honey pie, come bite it. Bring your own fork, girl, you know I don't provide it.
Oh, girl, won't you stop taking enough, huh? Oh, honey, honey pie, honey, honey, honey pie. Oh, girl, won't you stop taking enough, huh? Oh, honey, honey pie, honey, honey, honey pie.
Don't you stop till you're my girl, and I won't stop it until you're my girl, and you can't stop it until you're my girl, and I can't find out what you want till you're my girl, and I won't stop it until you're my girl, and you can't stop that until you're my girl.
Oh, girl, won't you stop taking enough, huh? Oh, honey, honey pie, honey, honey, honey pie. Oh, girl, won't you stop taking enough, huh? Oh, honey, honey pie, honey, honey, honey pie.
Oh, girl, don't you stop till you're my girl, and I won't stop it until you're my girl, and you can't stop it until you're my girl, and I can't. Oh, girl, don't you stop what you got. I got that honey pie, go bite it.
Honey, honey, honey.
Yeah. They say I walk like a king, talk like a king. You can act around now, say the same thing. They chasing the fame, they all want the name. but they ain't got what's running through these veins. Say I walk like a king, talk like a king. You can act around now, say the same thing. They chasing the fame, they got one the name, but they ain't got what's running through these veins. Make way for the king. For the kingdom, king me, checkmate then repeat. This chestnut checkers, what can I say? I got goat jeans. Real kings do king things. Live like one, breathe like one, killing shit by any means. Everybody can't lead like one, nah. Is it really me? Gotta check and see my legacy like royalty, and I act like it. If you know, better act like it. Look at me now, they can't hold me down. So give me the crown. They say I walk like a king, talk like a king. You can act around now, say the same thing. They chasing the fame, they all want the name, but they ain't got what's running through these veins. Say I walk like a king, talk like a king. You can act around now, say the same thing. They chasing the fame, they all want the name, but they ain't got what's running through these veins. Make way for the king. For the king of kings for a long stretch, no limousine. If you talking winners, gotta intervene. I'm the biggest one of those you ever seen. I'ma need a crown. I'm the only one that ever held it down at the tip top. People flip flop every day, not I. Top 5, I'm a big shot. I'm the one that wanna take the big shots. Big balls, big rings, big rocks, big bag, big moves, big cars, big man, big plan. Get lost, we been this wrong. Look at me now, they can't hold me down. So give me the crown. It must be a thing. It must be the poise that silence the noise. It must be the heart that sets me apart. It must be the game that gave me the name. It must be the truth, I could be the proof. It could be the chain, it might be the shoes. They watching my moves, they chasing the fame, but they ain't got what's running through these veins. Make way for the king. For the king. We're not the same, we're not the same. We're not the same, we run everything. We're not the same, we're not the same. They ain't got what's running through these veins. Make way for the king.
Hello everybody, that was Make Way for the King. Yeah, no, it was. I was like, what's the name of the song? It's a name that's been going on anyway. Welcome on in to the episode 33 of the Godwin Monday Talk Show with me, your host, Mr. San Andreas. Absolutely fantastic to be back once again. I mean, it feels like we're just kind of going through these every single week, and it's fantastic to still be here, honestly. I thought it'd be gone by now, but no, we're here. Anyways, we are now here, and it's kind of, wow, there's a lot of news to go through this week. A lot of it actually is, usually, I think last week we went through like a lot of kind of non-gaming news, maybe some of it was about the techno world, but this week we actually have quite a lot of news in video games themselves, how much they've been selling, some new updates, and also the future of gaming. We have some news on that as well, but before any of that, we are going to get through what I played this week, and the other section, what game I recommend this week. And if you have any games that you played yourself that you want me to talk about, or you just generally enjoyed and you want it to be known that you played them, please make sure to have them sent in. If you're on a computer, you can use the music request feature where you can send in, music requests or, just general side notes you want known throughout the show. Or if you're on your phone, you can go to our Instagram, Twitter, and you can comment there, and we'll see it after the show at the Only Mradio, or YouTube and Twitch at Mradio, but obviously that'll take a lot longer to look at. Anyway, okay, it's a beautiful Monday. There's a lot of news to go through. We have a full hour here after listening to all that music. We've got a lot more good music actually coming up. I can't wait until the music breaks so we get to play one of my favorite bands, Saint Motel. And they had a new song a few months ago, and I'm looking forward to playing that. Anyway, getting on to what games I played this week. Of course, we have like the solid trio. Actually, I didn't play Red Dead this week, surprisingly. I did not play Red Dead this week, but I did play the solid trio that has been there for the last few weeks which is what did I play this week? I'm repeating myself. 5M, GTA 5, and Football Manager 21. 5M, I'm a role player on Twitch RP. We actually had some kind of good RP going this week. I didn't stream any of it, and I won't be streaming for another while, just kind of taking a break from streaming before going back at it full time. But this week we had a lot of kind of good role play going on. It was kind of funny because this week we kind of had like our whole kind of biker gang go in to the city. So we were kind of doing that. The city is in like the whole server, so we finally got that up and running. And I mean, that was a hell of an adventure because I don't know whether it's a good thing or bad thing, because we got a lot of good kind of role play going in. But yeah, no, that was fun. Also done some stuff on my main character, Rush Weston, for anybody who's been watching for a while. But yeah, no, a lot of stuff was done this week. GTA 5, I just generally enjoy playing it. I mean, I've always got a lot of questions about why I still play GTA 5, because it kind of is strange for a game that's came out like for so many years that I'm still playing it. I don't know whether it's like extremely loyal or just kind of stupid, but I still play GTA 5. I still make content on it. It's just a game that I generally enjoy playing, and not because of like the new online updates. I mean, I'd say the last time I played online was actually a few months ago at this point. It's probably maybe early January or early February. But I just generally enjoy playing it because it's a decent game. It's got a good story, and it's got a lot of characters I enjoy. And I mean, I think the main reason why a lot of people still play GTA 5 is because it still runs and looks very well. And the city that Rockstar built, I mean, it's a masterpiece. And talking about Rockstar, we actually do have some news on them later on in the show. Also, of course, this week, Football Manager 21. I was playing it. I got my team promoted from League 1. So the way it works in England is there's kind of four main leagues. So there's the Premier League, then there's the Championship, then there's League 1, and there's League 2. And they all kind of work in that way. And I started off with Sunderland in League 1. Now, Sunderland, I think the last time they were in the Premier League was, I want to say, like 2013, 14. I don't think it couldn't be 16, could it? It actually could be 16. I wouldn't be surprised because you got Fabio. I mean, I'm tempted to say 16 as well, but I actually don't know when the last time Sunderland were in the Premier League was. But it's been quite a while since they're in the Premier League anyway. Okay, I think we can safely say that it's been a few years. Okay, they had a bad few years out of the gate. They went to the Championship and they automatically got relegated, which is extremely weird for a team. I mean, when a team goes into the lower league, what happens is that the infrastructure behind the club, it decreases a little bit. You have to let go staff, you have to reduce player wages, and a lot of players don't want to reduce their wages. So it's really tough getting relegated. So obviously Sunderland, they went through all of that, and I mean that probably just affected them a lot, to be honest. I'm trying to look it up right now. When was the last time? It was 2016. I don't know why I doubted myself. Yeah, they've been out of the Premier League for the past 3 seasons. So obviously this was in 2019 and 2020. And it was 2016 when the last time they were in the Premier League. So it's been quite a while. We're not at the Premier League yet, okay? We're in the Championship, so we're making our way up there. And the Championship is the second highest league in English football, and we got there. And right now, to my surprise, okay, I thought when we were going to be getting to the Championship, I thought, yeah, listen, here it is, we're going right back down to League 1, because we've got an agent squad. We've got like Lee Burge in goal, we've got Aidan McGeady, we've got Bailey Wright, we've got Ledbetter. I mean, we have a load of players that are in their 30s or going near their 30s. So our squad's aging. The players that we do have that are young, like Jack Diamond and Dan Neal, they're too young to perform at a high level right now. So I was like, we're going straight back down. But within 2 matches, we're on the top of the table. And I mean, it's only 2 matches and there's still a long season to go, but that's not bad at all. I think it's because at the start of the season, I saw that a load of like ex-Premiership players were out of contracts. So I got all the money I could. I scraped it out at the very bottom of the barrel, and I ended up paying insane wages. I wanted to get Karius to my club since obviously my goalkeeper is quite aging, even though he literally just got Team of the Year last year for League One. But still, he was quite an aging goalkeeper, and I wanted to make sure that we had a replacement there that was had experience at the very top. Never mind the Champions League. And that's what I've done. And I got Joshua King. Now, this is just a load of nonsense talk for a lot of people, but Joshua King, ex-Man United Academy player, went through Bournemouth, Everton, and he was let go by Everton, and he scored 5 goals in 2 matches. Well, he scored 8 goals in 3 matches, but one of them was a friendly. But so 8 goals in 3 matches, I mean, that is insane right there. So he's been leading us. We bet the predicted first 2-1 Watford, who got relegated as well. So I'm quite proud of myself. Football Manager 21. It's kind of a game that you really kind of have to be an advocate of football to enjoy. I mean, if you're just a person who enjoys playing football, then FIFA's definitely for you. But if you're a person who likes the ins and outs of football and those small details, like how clubs finance transfers, and the tactical kind of situation behind it all, and maybe morale and the backroom stuff and training, Football Manager is definitely for you, because you don't physically play it, but you manage it, as in the Football Manager part of it. So I just genuinely enjoy it. I also played a game called F1 2019 this week. I have been absolutely grinding out F1 2019. I don't know what it is. I was thinking about this. It was actually today I was thinking about it. I thought about it last night as well. But a huge increase in popularity from F1 has come from the Drive to Survive series, which is basically a documentary on F1 and the drivers. And what it does is it goes through a whole season it goes through a whole F1 season in a Netflix season. And it kind of goes through, what the players are going through and kind of the background stuff that you don't really see on the telly when you're watching it. And it's really good. I mean, I enjoyed it. I was never really a fan of F1 before Drive to Survive, but after Drive to Survive, I have just loved every single second of F1. And I think it's really because when you see them on the TV racing, it just really doesn't attract you. But once you kind of know the kind of drivers they are, the kind of stuff they go through, you kind of get a bit of a sentimental connection to them, I think. And I was thinking wow, that's a great marketing kind of thing going on there, because obviously a documentary team didn't just come around and say, hey, F1, we want to make a documentary on you. I mean, I feel like this is a very planned marketing strategy, because F1 is constantly trying to grow its audience, and they recently signed a contract with a street circuit in Miami for a race there next year. So the F1 FIA are constantly kind of trying to get popularity and watchers for F1 up. And I was just thinking about it, that is a great way to do that. And I was like, what other sports could they make documentary on to grab people into the F1 kind of thing? Because people are watching this series who I know who've never liked F1, and now they're obsessed with it. They're like, oh my god, it's such a great TV show, I love it. And then they kind of slowly go over to the actual sport. So it's quite smart, really, in one strange way. And I think, it's a solid marketing strategy. I was thinking, what if they done a kind of a series like that with maybe football or rallying or swimming or something like that, where you could really turn a competitive sport into a compelling TV series. And I mean, it's a nice little concept to have. And I was like, well, it's a good marketing kind of plan right there, isn't it, really, to be able to turn something so competitive and so kind of surviving instinct and turn it into an entertaining TV show. And I mean, a lot of people would just bat their eyes at F1, but now I think a lot of more people are getting into another 3 seasons of Drive to Survive. I don't know how long they're going to keep it up, but I mean, yeah, no, it is quite good. And it appeals to the person who doesn't really want to sit down for 2 or 3 hours and actually watch the race. It kind of appeals to the person who just kind of wants some good entertainment, really, at the end of the day. And I thought it was quite interesting. But yeah, no, I've got into F1 2019. I want to get the new F1 2021 when it comes out, because I just feel like there's going to be some new features, new drivers, new teams. I mean, And the thing I really like about F1 is it does kind of change every kind of year. In the fact that cars are a lot easier to control. There's constant new kind of restrictions going on. They have a new story mode as well. And it really does that competitive kind of just environment around the sport in general that transforms over into the game, which I really like. I also played Cluster Truck this week. I mean, last week I didn't have much to say about Cluster Truck, and this week I don't have much to say about Cluster Truck, because Cluster Truck is a really simple game. There's a lot of trucks that are clustering, and you have to jump on each one till you cross the finish line. I mean, it's very self-explanatory, if I'm being quite honest with you. So it's not exactly a game which I can talk about for 10 minutes and stretch this out until the music break. So apologies for that one, but Cluster Truck, I mean, I get really frustrated at the game. I mean, it has its moments where it's just kind of like a chill game. It's a chill game. You're sitting down, you got 10-15 minutes spare before you have to go somewhere or do something, and you sit down, and then you get to this one level that is virtually impossible. And I mean, I just generally the game it frustrates me, because I mean, you'll be doing so well for so long, and then you get to this one level where you just can't get past it. And I mean, I think it was on the Xbox I got really far in Cluster Truck, and I'm having it on my PC now, and I'm just gonna put the game down, because it just makes me angrier than just there's no chill vibes coming out of it. The Outer Worlds, I've talked about this for also the last I think maybe 3 or 4 weeks, just because I just genuinely love the game. I mean, I think it's a fantastic game that does not get the recognition it deserves. I mean, I feel like it's so underrated. It's a massive, massive game. There's constant storylines to follow, and I kind of really like the way that it's just really personal, as in that each different kind of playthrough is personal to the way you play it, and I feel like that's really cool. I mean, the first time I played it on Xbox compared to now, I have like a whole different crew. I didn't even know that was possible. I thought like there was only a set few crew members you can get. But apparently if you explore enough and do enough side quests, you get different crewmates for your ship. And I was like, what? I always thought I know you can get Pervetti and I think Sam are like the two base kind of heroes you get. But then by doing different side quests, you get like different companions to go and quest with and everything. And I think that's just crazy, honestly. My Time at Portia, I played that, I think it was yesterday, was it? I think it was like midday yesterday. I was kind of bored, and I had something coming up fairly soon, so I was like, I'll throw it on for like an hour or so. I threw it on. I mean, My Time at Portia, it's not a game that I can see myself, grinding out for 30 hours, okay? It's not something like Spider-Man or GTA or Red Dead, like a really story-compelling game that keeps dragging you back even when, you should be sleeping or something. It's one of those games where, if you enjoy the simple things, you'll enjoy My Time at Portia. And I still haven't built that goddamn bridge. That goddamn bridge is going to be the death of me, honestly. I went, mining the other day, and then I had to go for a town hall meeting, and then I had to go around and do quests everywhere. The only quarrel I really have with My Time at Portia is the sheer amount of time you spend just collecting resources. I mean, it gets tiring, honestly. Most of the time, I spend time trying to figure out a way not to go grinding, like a way to just buy resources in, because, I mean, I got the money. I got the money from selling all those resources off and using them, and I mean, yeah, it's My Time at Portia. It's certainly a game that once you get past it, the rewards are there, but getting those rewards are quite annoying. I remember on Xbox the first time I built the bridge, I felt so good about myself, and then 10 minutes later I was just given another quest, and I was like, god damn it. I was like, no, I'm just giving up, and I just went around exploring for the rest of my time playing it. Yeah, no, it is kind of really rewarding in that sense, but as minute you get that reward, you kind of have to be on caution, because you're just going to get handed another impossible quest. But yeah, and the last game I played this week was a game called Fallout 4. You probably all know it. I don't know what brought me to play Fallout 4. I think I was watching a documentary on Netflix, and they had a scene where it was kind of framed as isolation out in the middle of nowhere, and I was like, hey, Fallout. Oh wait, I remember what it was. It was about Russia. It was about Russia, and they kind of set it in the countryside where it was kind of all kind of just lonely and desolate and just in isolation. I was like, whoa, Fallout 4 vibes. Next minute I know I'm just booting up Fallout 4. And I still haven't finished the game on PC. I finished it on PlayStation, I finished it on Xbox. I still haven't finished it on PC. Just because I just haven't really got around to it, to be honest. Every time I play Fallout 4, I either get extremely bored, like midway through, and I was like, or something comes up. And you have to sit out down for a few hours to get, a good way through Fallout 4. I mean, I'm past the main story. I think I've killed Kellogg. I'm with the Brotherhood of Steel now, and I have to kill the super mutants. I don't think I've met the Institute yet. I think I have to go track down the Courser to get the chip for the Institute whole thing. I think that's what's going on with the Institute right now. Besides that, that's about the wrap up for the week. I mean, I did want to talk a little bit about Fallout 4 because I came across like a kind of a franchise fan of Fallout who, I thought it was quite interesting. He didn't like Fallout 4 at all. He just said it just wasn't for him, yet he loved Fallout 76. And he said he loved obviously Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3. They're two masterpieces. It's kind of hard not to love them. But particularly I was kind of estranged by the whole kind of thing with loving Fallout 76 and hating Fallout 4. And I'm kind of the other way around. I mean, I hate 76 and I love Fallout 4. And I think the main reason behind it, and it's kind of the problem that I originally had with Fallout 4, with Fallout 76, was once you got into it, I played it for like 3 or 4 hours opening up. Once you got into it, there's just an immediate feeling of just loneliness. And I mean, there's some games that do that really well, and some games that it fits with really well. I mean, something that I thought really fitted well with loneliness was the Metro series. I mean, for some of the game, you're not alone, you're with someone, but for other parts of the game, you are alone. And I think it's kind of a medium that they hit perfectly, kind of nail on the head kind of thing, where they have that medium where you're not just alone the whole time, but when you are alone, it has a sense of purpose. It has a sense that you are alone and this is survival mode. The messing has now gone. There's no more dialogue. You are surviving. And I feel the thing with Fallout 76, the minute you wake up in the vault, you might see a few online players going around, but it doesn't matter, since at the end of the day, they're just the same as you. They're just playing the game. And there's never really a sense, I feel, in the first 3 or 4 hours of story or of purpose. You're kind of just going around following an invisible person from place to place, maybe every once in a while meeting a robot, or maybe every once in a while reading a little bit of lore. But at the same time, reading lore is never really like the real kind of stuff, You're just reading it. It's never kind of, actually interacting in a story. And for anybody who's been listening for the past 32 shows, I am a person who enjoys a good story over anything. And if the game has terrible ratings, the graphics remind you of the N64, and the mechanics are horrid, I won't care as long as there's a good story. I'll play it through. And I feel like with a game like Fallout 76, the main thing was never a story. It was really more of a money maker, in my opinion. It wasn't really to make a good, compelling game. It was a money maker, and I guess it did do that. It did create a lot of revenue for them, but I never really saw it as a game that I clicked with, just because of the pure loneliness of the game. And I feel if you look at Fallout 4, I'm mixing up 76 and 4. If you look at 4, I feel that game hits the nail on the head with really kind of the Commonwealth and loneliness in general. You do get companions, which definitely make the game not only easier but less lonely. But I think the whole thing about being in a nuclear fallout, I don't think 76 ever really got that. I think it was more of a playground for people and their friends to venture into. You're able to build your own house, get your own guns, kill baddies, go to different places, discover all this stuff, and nuke the planet. And you're never really meant to, find a sense of purpose in that game. There's no kind of secret message behind it all. It's, have fun with your friends in this huge world that we've built for you. That's definitely not buggy and glitchy. Where Fallout 4, it's a lot more my pace because there's a physical story behind that, and I do realize that a lot of people don't like that story, but I think it's decent for video game standards. I mean, you could be looking at a lot worse. And I feel like they just really nailed the head on the whole thing that you are alone, but you're not totally alone. I mean, there's different communities that have built up in the 200 years since the bombings, and I think that Fallout 76 does a great kind of thing at making you question stuff. And I feel that's what a game should do. You should never really go through a game going like, yes, this is good. I have nothing really to add to this. A good game should make you question, stuff like is this right? It should make you not just sit there and say, yes, I enjoyed this very much. You can say that about a game, but really, I think for me, a good game always makes me question stuff. If it's a good game, it won't make me question the quality of the good game. It'll make me question stuff like, do I agree with this? Do I not agree with this? Is this something that I would have done? And stuff like that. And if it's a bad game, well, then I'll question why the hell did they even make it in the first place? And that's kind of a question that Fallout 76 raised to me. And it was a question that I answered fairly quickly. It was for money. Pure money. And I mean, I can understand, Bethesda, they ain't working with the funds that they should be. And maybe that might change once Microsoft gets in there. But, yeah, it is the unfortunate truth that I just didn't click with 76. And I think Fallout 4 was definitely a game more pace for me. Just a perfect amount of story. I mean, how they created the environment, the world, I love it. I mean, there's probably places I could still go in Fallout 4 and they'd be new to me. I mean, and I've been playing the game for maybe 2 years now. Not 24/7, but, I've been playing the game since 2 years ago. And I'd probably still come across places that are new to me, and I could probably still come across quests that are new to me. It's a large world. It was a world that I can immerse myself in, and I think it's one of those games that if you're tight on a budget, I feel like you could definitely get a lot of hours out of. But anyway, those are games I played this week. If you have games that you played this week and you want to send them in, make sure to use the music request feature, or you can hit us up on Instagram or Twitter at the Only Mradio and tell us there. Anyway, going on to the last section before we go on a music break is what game I'd recommend this week. And this is an oldie, but it's a goodie. It's from the Xbox 360 days of the skating series, Skate 3. Now, recently, there was some wind in the windpipe that Skate 4 could be coming out. And if that is the case, well then, God bless this earth, there is still hope. I mean, my days of playing Skate 3 are probably well over at this point. It was really a game that I played a lot during my childhood. I remember picking up Skate 3 for about €20 on GameStop secondhand, and that's when the relationship started, really. That's when everything went down. And it's just a game that I genuinely enjoyed, even if you're not a big fan of skating, because I would have never considered myself a big fan of skating. I mean, when my friends would skate, I'd kind of just, look and talk. I mean, I never really do it myself. Yet Skate 3 is just another thing where it adds just a beautiful kind of creative world that EA made into. It's not the best story, but there's definitely an element of story there, and it's really more kind of creating your own self or creating a fictional person into this whole kind of new world. I can't remember the name of the city actually. It's right there actually. I have the cover right here for Skate 3. Here it is. What's the city called? It's one to Port Caverton. Team up, throw down. I mean, the back of it's not exactly, a masterpiece. But, I mean, it is a really good game. And if you never played the Skate series, you were missing out. I feel that's something that every person can kind of relate to, is playing a skate game when they're younger. I mean, either you played the Skate series, or you played Tony Hawk or something, or maybe you played Rockstar's Thrasher. I mean, I think everyone just played a skater game when they were young. I mean, I feel like that's like a requirement into gaming, is to play a skater game. And that game for me I played Skate 2, but Skate 3 was the one that I really got immersed in. You build up kind of your own set of players, and you can do all your tricks, and you can get into these huge arenas and just have fun. I mean, it's one of those games where you can actually have fun, and it was designed to have fun, and it's not one of those games that, you know, you can have fun and it was designed for money purposes. But it's just a really good game. I mean, that's the game I'm recommending this week. Unfortunately, if you're a PlayStation player, or that is unfortunate, but Skate 3 is my game I recommend this week. Anyways, we are now going to go on our music break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about all the latest news from Microsoft to Resident Evil Village to a little bit something about It Takes Two. Anyway, next up on our music break is A Good Song Never Dies by Saint Motel.
You're in too deep to go back again. Cash is pay to play. You want more hits than lemonade. No, you don't own me. You don't even know me. This vagabond with a two-part path to the great beyond. Stay genuine, a ground floor art I can help you find. You're a dreamer, call me when you're Bieber. And when they play it, you can't help but sing along. That's nothing odd, that's nothing wrong. 'Cause a good song never dies. It just reminds you of where you were the first time it made you cry, the first time you felt alive. No good song never. No good song never. The first time they made you cry, the first time you felt alive. No good song never. The wonder drug don't work no more, think it took too much. Your equity, make the caffeine be your weaponry. What is the reason there never was one needed? It's all around, but it weighs too much to slow you down. It's the time to act, 'cause the best defense is the timeless track. No, you don't own me, you don't even know me. But when they play it, you can't help but sing along. That's nothing odd, that's nothing wrong. 'Cause a good song never dies. It just reminds you of where you were the first time it made you cry, the first time you felt alive. No good song never. No good song never. The first time they made you cry, the first time you felt alive. No good song never. There was a moment, a hole opened in the sky, a chance to join their pantheon. For all the times they never heard your battle cry, now even angels sing along. 'Cause a good song never dies. It just reminds you of where you were the first time it made you cry, the first time you felt alive. No good song never dies. Like a lover who won't back down and pull you over to the side, look you straight into the eyes. No good song never. No good song never. The first time they made you cry, the first time you felt alive. No good song never.
I know you think I'm a psychopath, Democrat lurking in the dark. This sucks, I'm the Kmart soldier, to trash. I kept the stash of coca candy straight from Japan, hologram, and she was never as young. Think you know what I need to get by.
Something for your mind, mind. Something for your mind, mind. Something
sociopath, my lovely prey. I'm a cliche. Make way, I'm in my Pepsi mood. Mama needs food, how about a barbecue? For us, the bourgeoisie, so carefree. Remember when we... I don't know why you need to get by.
Something for your mind. Mind. Something for your mind. Mind. Something for your mind.
정신에 집어넣으세요. 마음에 어떤 것 필요합니까?
Something for your
정신에 집어넣으세요.
mind.
정신에 집어넣으세요.
Something for your
That was Something for Your Mind by a Super Organism. I mean, that's a fantastic song. I remember listening to it in FIFA. I mean, that's going back a while ago now. But very, very good song. On the... trying to think, was it on FIFA 19? It could have been FIFA... I think it was FIFA 18, actually, that it was on. I mean, whatever FIFA was on, they... Very, very, very good soundtrack. I mean, FIFA 18, 19, I didn't really like 20, if I'm being honest. I felt like 20 was just, it was more orientated to, like, the street football aspect of things. I just didn't really like it. But, I mean, FIFA 17, 18, 19, they all usually have good soundtracks, to be honest. I mean, that's one thing that EA does well, the soundtracks. So, well done to EA. I actually heard some news that there was a secret document leaked that showed that EA are trying to steer people towards loot boxes. And if that's true, I mean, like, EA, have you not learned your lessons? I mean, like, what? But anyway, getting on to the news, since we have about 70 minutes to get through it. Microsoft is building the UK's fastest supercomputer, powered entirely by renewable energy. It's expected to save 7,415 tons of CO2 in the first year of service. So Microsoft out here doing absolute grinds. Again, I mean, buying up Bethesda, buying up other stuff, I'm sure, and now doing this. I mean, Microsoft. I'm actually genuinely getting worried that Microsoft is like just buying up the whole world. We actually do have some news about Microsoft trying to buy up something later on in the show. The Resident Evil Village's upcoming PC demo has been mercifully extended. Capcom has extended the demo window out beyond the original 24 hours. That was a difficult sentence to say for some reason, but yes, the Resident Evil Village's demo, which I believe I saw on YouTube. If I didn't, I'm definitely going to go look at it after this, and it's been extended. So if you're looking to play the demo, now's your chance. And 9,000 player games are right around the corner. And here's what one looks like. Scavenger's experimental Scav Lab mode can support over 9,000 players in the same space. I mean, what? 9,000 players. Imagine that. We can't even get a fully good game without bugs. And we're looking to create 9,000 player matches. I mean, first, let's fix Cyberpunk and Watch Dogs Legion. Then let's think about 9,000 player games. I mean, like... Jesus, is there even 9,000 players who want to play a singular game that isn't like... I mean, 9,000 players in a AAA game off the table, not going to happen. I mean, unless it's meant by Microsoft, they could probably support that, but would they? And then, like, you know, you got Scavenger's experimental Scav Lab mode. I mean, would even 9,000 people be playing that? I don't know. Well, even that's out of the question. Make a game without bugs first before going into all that, okay? Make cheating impossible before you put 9,000 players into one game. I mean, imagine if one person in there is a cheater with a mod menu and they just decide to ruin everybody's day. I mean... the possibility of things going wrong outweighs the possibility of things going right. Respawn just became the first Oscar-winning game developer. A documentary tie-in for the Medal of Honor Above and Beyond won the Best Documentary Short Subject a few nights ago now. So that's fantastic news for Respawn. Just showing how far gaming is taking the kind of fight to movies these days, I guess. It Takes Two has sold over 1 million copies, once again demonstrating how big games are getting. I mean, you have, I tried to do a burp there, it just didn't work. You have like Valorant, you have Among Us, Fall Guys, I was going to say Fallen Guys, Fall Guys, It Takes Two. I mean, you've all these just kind of fantastic indie games coming up and selling millions of copies, and it really just is going to show what the gaming world is and how how it can come together in this tough time. Fallout 76 Locked and Loaded update will let you have multiple camps and loadouts. So, one camp wasn't enough, now you can have two. I mean, loadouts, I didn't even know that was a thing, to be honest. I'm presuming with loadouts they mean like just a normal kind of set loadouts that you can like make for yourself on journeys, I guess. I don't know why that wasn't like a thing that you could have multiple loadouts before, but okay, Todd Howard. Okay, multiple camps though, that is a pretty cool feature, I think, personally. I mean, I wouldn't be mind if I was restricted to one camp, but I think definitely just going back to Fallout 4 here, having like multiple kind of places where you could go for settlements was definitely a cool feature. If you ever got bored of one place, you could just go to another, and it was just a really cool feature, to be honest. And so Fallout 76, I mean, decent update. Okay, I feel like the only getting multiple loadouts now is a bit shameful, but multiple camps, that's pretty cool. The Windows 10 update that's been trashing frame rates has been officially fixed, so if you're still getting bad frame rates, you can't blame it on Windows 10 anymore. Hitman's next elusive target is a murderous politician with a body double. The contract is live until May 3rd, so feel free to go get them. You hit men or hit women. I mean, is that a thing? Imagine in like another Hitman game, it's like Hitman 47 gets killed and is replaced by Hit Woman. I don't think IO Interactive would do that, but I mean, it would make it suits the whole environment these days, isn't it? Like someone on Twitter is going to complain, why is it called a Hitman and not a Hit Woman? And next thing you know, like Hit Woman 1's coming out. There's a whole franchise. I mean, I wouldn't be against the idea in general for the simple fact that I'm not just a person to hate on something for, just existing to be different than something else. But I mean, I feel like it would just ruin everything that they've built up in the last 20 years if they just suddenly just throw Hitman to the side and make it Hit Woman. I mean, after the series is done or franchise is done, I mean, I'd be up for it, You try everything at least once, I guess. But IO Interactive are doing the James Bond game right now, which I'm so excited for. I mean, I have such high hopes for James Bond games, and usually they don't come to fruition. But I've got hopes for this one. Okay, it's IO Interactive. Okay, the people who made Hitman 3. I think it'll be decent enough. I don't know if it's gonna work like the same as Hitman or if they're gonna employ totally different mechanics. But I'm excited to see what they'll have. But that elusive target, I mean, it sounds cool. Okay, you got a politician with a body double. Like, which one do you kill? I mean, that's pretty cool, to be honest. The Warzone director, whose name is Amos Hodge, says cheaters are ruining some of the best work that I've done in my life, end quote. Amos Hodge knows players are frustrated, but says cheating bothers us more than anyone. So the Warzone director, he's just came out and said that cheaters are basically ruining the game, and that it doesn't bother anyone more than it bothers Activision. So I guess that's a good thing that they're aware that it does exist. And something else about Windows 10, actually, the Windows 10 taskbar is getting where is it? I lost it for a second. The Windows 10 taskbar is getting a weather and news widget soon, but you can turn it off. I mean, the taskbar, if no one knows what a taskbar is, it's basically like the thing at the very bottom of your screen that shows all your applications and the time, the date, and everything. And I don't really know if there's enough space down there for it, but go for it. I mean, my Windows taskbar is fairly full up with just applications. You got Streamlabs there, you got OBS, you got Discord, and I think you got a few games there as well. You got Handbrake, Photoshop, Steam, email, so it's fairly full down there. I mean, I'll probably leave the weather on, but for the news update, I mean, constantly, whatever it is with Google and Opera and all those kind of just browsers, they're constantly trying to shove news down your throat. It's like, hey, look, Prince Charles said this to Prince Harry or whatever his name is, and in the news, look at this, click on this link. I mean, like, stop making me try to see this news I don't want to see, because next thing I know when we're doing this, I don't want to know news unless it's relevant to me. I mean, that's the kind of person I am. unless like news is relevant to me, like maybe some tax changes. I usually kind of listen into RD News, which is our country's news, and it'll tell you all about maybe something that's going on with the government. Maybe they're introducing some new taxes, or maybe a budget deficit's coming around, or it'll bring you in some like national news, like maybe a family of 5 was murdered. I mean, that's quite gruesome. I don't know why my mind went there, but it did. We're rolling with it. And so it kind of brings you that. So I don't really like how browsers and just general applications are constantly trying to put like news feeds in your kind of eye range of the screen. And I feel that's just kind of really cheap. I feel like they're just kind of trying to get clicks on their website and trying to find out kind of what brings you in, kind of what like attracts your attention, what kind of warrants a click. And I feel it's a very, very just shady and just butt-hurtery thing to do. And that's not a word, but it's a word now. I said it. I said it. But I'll definitely be turning on the news widget. So you can look forward to that if you're a Windows 10 user. If you're a Mac user, stay using Mac. I believe Safari has like a news widget kind of thing already. Battlefield 6 will be packed with more players than ever before. A full reveal is coming soon. DICE boss Oscar Gabrielson said the new Battlefield game is now in daily playtesting. So a few weeks back we already heard about Battlefield 6 and how some major clues are coming to the game, and how we'll be having a full reveal. I think they said in Q3. I think it was either Q3 or Q4 that we'll be having like a major. We're definitely getting in the latter part of the year. Like just a latter part of the year, a full reveal in the game. I mean, if I was them, I'd definitely go for E3, but they might be delaying it a little bit later. But to hear it's in daily playtesting, that's usually a good thing. That's a good sign right there. So for any Battlefield fans, you can look forward to the new Battlefield coming very soon. So that's good news. Cyberpunk 2077 sold 13.7 million copies in 2020, and more than half of those were on PC. So on paper, okay, Cyberpunk 2077 was a major success. As long as you just keep looking at it on paper, it'll be fine. If you actually go play the game, though, you will lose your mind by the amount of bugs that are in it. But the advertising strategy they had on that game was magnificent. So I'm going to have to give them a call one day and figure out what the hell they done. But yeah, they probably spent a crap ton of money on that advertising campaign. I remember I was like seeing like Joe Biden rallies where Cyberpunk was in the background. I mean, like, I don't think it was intentional, but that just kind of goes to show how much they literally advertised Cyberpunk. Everybody knew about it. I mean, everybody knew about it. A ransomware group demands $50 million for stolen Apple schematics. Hackers stole gigabytes of files from manufacturer Quanta Computer, a maker of Apple's MacBooks and other laptops. So, yep, that's not going to end well. I mean, you always hear about like a group demanding something for like a big company, but you never actually hear about the result of it. I mean, I remember I was hearing about how Ubisoft were being held for ransom about the game files for Watch Dogs Legion. And like somebody cracked it and they were going to sell it to like different developers and everything, and you never actually heard about the result of it. And I'm always like wondering, like, what do like the big companies do to those guys? Because eventually it's going to end one way. I mean, there's no way that you're going to get 50 million out of Apple and Apple are just going to walk away. I mean, if you think that's going to happen, you're wrong. Because there's something definitely going on there. And I mean, money is trackable these days. I mean, everything's trackable these days, especially if it's done over the internet or even worse, over in person. Everything's trackable. So I mean, I'm genuinely going to follow up what's going to happen to this ransomware group, because if they get away with 50 million. I'm gonna need to give them a call, okay? Because they're gonna need to teach me a few stuff. But I'm just genuinely curious about how Apple are gonna really react about all this, because I feel like Apple's kind of one of they're basically one of the tech companies that run the goddamn world. I mean, that's no secret. So I'm just wondering, how is this gonna work out for the ransomware group? Because I'd genuinely be concerned for their health. I mean, if the Apple guys found them. I don't want to frame them as major villains or anything, but it genuinely interests me about what the kind of outcome of all this will be. I'm not the only person it interests. I mean, there's definitely other people that this kind of stuff interests, but if they get away with the $50 million, I mean, like, wow. but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't, and if nobody ever sees them again. But anyway, Frostpunk has sold over 3 million copies, so 11-Bit Studios is having a sale. So any games that you want from 11-Bit Studios, now is the time to get them, because they have sold 3 million copies of Frostpunk, so they're having a sale. Modders want to turn Valheim into a 1,000-player MMO. I don't know what it is with people wanting to turn like games into huge kind of this huge service full of everybody. I mean, have we learned nothing from Cyberpunk? We can't even make a goddamn game without bugs and glitches, and we're looking to have 1,000 players in a lobby. I mean, I just personally think, yes, it would be a great strive in the right direction for gaming, but at the same time, you know what else would be a great strive in the kind of gaming world? Would be making a game without glitches. I mean, that would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? That would be pretty cool. So yeah, I'm not too for the idea of this huge kind of servers and lobbies full of players. At the same time, I'm not exactly against it either. You know, I can appreciate it. Discord reportedly halts buyout talks with Microsoft. Negotiations were said to be in an advanced state, but Discord has apparently decided to reconsider its options. I was not aware that Discord and Microsoft were in talks, and I'm like so internally grateful that they broke down, because Microsoft these days are just buying up everything. I mean, they're goddamn billionaires. I mean, I don't know what the whole kind of net worth of the company is. I wouldn't be surprised if it's up in the 100 billions. I mean, it has to be. It has to be. But yeah, I'm kind of glad that Microsoft have it's kind of come to a halt with the Discord negotiations, because my genuine concern is that these companies, these huge tech companies, are coming in and they're buying up literally everything that has an ounce of popularity. And I feel like it's a grasp at to grab control of the market. I mean, Microsoft already has control of the market. That's not in contention at all. I mean, the software they use is by far the most popular. I mean, you don't see any other popular softwares going around besides from Windows and Mac. So they obviously have control of the market. But I'm just genuinely glad that Discord is pulled out, because Discord genuinely is a service that is used by over 150 million people, and is probably the go-to chatting service on PC. And if Microsoft got a hold of that, first of all, I don't want them to F it up, since they seem to do that with every single PC application that isn't a software that they get their grubby hands on. Microsoft Store. Yeah, no, I don't know what they're going to do with it. I hope Discord continues this holdout, because they could they could cash in right now for a few billion. I mean, that is quite the possibility. But at the same time, I'd prefer if Discord didn't, because I'm just concerned about, you know, all these big companies coming in, buying all the small companies out, kind of just ruining any chance of kind of a competition in the market. I feel it just ruins it for me. Steam will no longer crash for the few people who own over 25,000 games. When I first saw this, I was like, who the hell owns 25,000 games? First off, where'd you get the money? I mean, that's the first question that came into my mind. And then second off, you obviously can't spend the time in a year to play 25,000 games. Is it one of those things that, you know, the kids who just want like all the medals on their shirts? Like, what's the point? I mean, that's the thing I'm struggling for. I have 30 something games on my Steam, and most of them are uninstalled. I mean, like a solid 20 of them are uninstalled. I only play like 3 or 4 consecutively, and that's because I don't have the time. So imagine someone who has 25,000 games. I know some of my friends who have literally hundreds of games, 400, 500, and I mean, you don't get the time to play them. What's the one having them there? First off, it's extra money going out, money that go towards bills, or I don't know, something productive like learning a skill that can make you money. Instead, you're putting it on games you'll never play. I mean, congratulations to the few people who own over 25,000 games. I really hope it was worth it. Just know I'm silently judging you. I'm just And last piece of news is Rockstar quietly makes all the Max Payne 3 and LA Noire DLCs free. When I first saw Rockstar and Max Payne 3 in the title, I was really hoping it would, you know, kind of go towards a new Max Payne game, but no, it's just free DLCs for 2 games I don't even have on PC. So I mean, yay. Yay for me. But yeah, no, that is quite good. I mean, it's Rockstar doing activity on the market, so something's coming. Let's just take this as like a piece of advice that something is coming, something bigger. But that is about all the news we have for today, everybody. Episode 33 of the Godwin Monday Talk Show with me, your host, Mr. San Andreas. It's been quite a productive show. And that is going to leave us off for the day. I will let you enjoy the rest of your Monday, and we will have a show later on tonight at 9 o'clock. So, thank you very much for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure to check out all the Mradio social medias. That's Twitter and Instagram at the only Mradio, and YouTube and Twitch at Mradio. I've been your host, Mr. San Andreas, and that has been an absolute joy being here, presenting these little snippets of news to you, and obviously talking about video games. We'll see you next week, and have a good one. We're going to finish you off with Lush Life by Zara Larsson.
I live my day as if it was the last. Live my day as if there was no past. Doing it all night, all summer. Doing it the way I wanna. Yeah, I'ma dance my heart out till the dawn. But I won't be done when morning comes. Doing it all night, all summer. Gonna spend it like no other. It was a crush, but I couldn't get enough. It was a rush, but I gave it up. It was a crush. Now I might have wanna said too much, but that's all it was. So I gave it up. I live my day as if it was the last. Live my day as if there was no past. Doing it all night, all summer. Doing it the way I wanna. Yeah, I'ma dance my heart out till the dawn, but I won't be done when morning comes. Doing it all night, all summer. Gonna spend it like no other. It was a crush. I kept saying I'ma stay in touch, but that thing went bust, so I gave it up. Ooh, no tricks, no bluff. I'm just better off without them cuffs. Yeah, the sun won't set on us. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah. When low, when high, still waters run dry. Gotta get back in the groove. I ain't never heard it. When low, when high, what matters is enough. Getting right back in the mood. I live my day as if it was the last. Live my day as if there was no past. Doing it all night, all summer. Doing it the way I wanna. Yeah, I'ma dance my heart out till the dawn, but I won't be done when morning comes. Doing it all night, all summer. Gonna spend it like no other. Now I found another crush. A lush life giving me a rush. Had one chance to make me blush. Second time is one to let. Now I found another crush. A lush life giving me a rush. Had one chance to make me blush. Second time is one to let. I live my day as if it was the last. Live my day